happy new moon of Leo. New moons each month are cosmic seeding points, and each month there's a different theme depending on the sign that the moon is in and the aspects that it's making. But the chart of the new moon will summarize that entire lunar cycle for the next 28 to 29 days, building up over 2 weeks to the full moon of its cycle, which is a culminating point and an illuminating point, and then waning and closing down to, the last quarter, and then the balsamic moon before the next new moon. So the lunation cycle that I'm talking about right now starts Wednesday, August 16th at 2:38 a.m. Pacific time, where the new moon of Leo perfected, and it goes until September 14th. And it culminates in a full blue moon on August 30th. So that's what kind of makes this next 2 weeks very special and unique. Yes, that is a word that I would give to this lunar cycle. There is something very unique and unexpected about it, because this new moon squares Uranus, and Uranus is the planet that governs the unexpected, things that happen in a flash of lightning and change everything. Uranus also rules rebellions. It rules geologically things like earthquakes. We could see a major earthquake somewhere in the world during this lunation cycle, very likely, with the Sun in Leo square Uranus and Taurus. That's an earth fire square. And so that is something that I think that we can definitely expect on the geological front. But on the psychological front, for some people, it could represent, Uranus can bring, it can bring erratic kind of energy, and it can be tough on the nervous system to people who are already prone to that kind of thing. But, the good side of Uranus is that it can kind of bring these aha moments and revelations and breakthroughs. Uranus squares, it's breakthroughs, breakdowns, breakups. All of those kinds of things can come with Uranus. But again, it also rules rebels. So, rebellions, uprisings, those are the types of things that we can see over this next lunar cycle. The square to the Sun in Leo, it brings a plot twist, a surprise. It's definitely a week or a time of expecting the unexpected. Another characteristic of this new moon is that it's conjunct Black Moon Lilith. And so this really brings up the feminine shadow, today, but also unfolding over this next month. And these are going to bring up some of the darker aspects of Leo feminine shadow. So this is like the wild woman could come out during this time, or, acting out for attention, because Leo is the sign that wants attention. It can also be, with the square to Uranus, I feel like there's a sense of perhaps attracting the wrong kind of attention. So that is where I would be cautious. With Leo square, with the Sun and the Moon square Uranus, the Sun and the Moon in Leo square Uranus and Taurus, I would caution against showing off money or, beauty or any kinds of things like that, because it could bring in unwanted attention. That's just a little caution, but nothing to get hung up on. It's just something that kind of came to me with this with this alignment. Another thing that I want to say about Black Moon Lilith is the shadow lives in all of us, and the feminine shadow lives in both men and women, and it can live in different ways, and that's something that I could go into more in a reading if you're interested in knowing more about how this energy is going to present in your life over the next month. Sometimes it can be a more internal experience, and sometimes it can be an external experience through an outer person who comes into our realm to work on these archetypes with us. And what else? Oh, it's also this new moon is trine the North Node in Aries and Eris, goddess of discord. So invite the bad witch to the party this season. It's a good idea. It can be surprisingly beneficial to work with the bad witch in this cycle. The bad witch, whoever that is to you. And yeah, that has to do with the myth of Eris. And again, something I'm trying to make this reading relatively short, so I'm not going to go into too much detail into that now. But, and the trine to the North Node in Aries also shows that there is a lot of passion, there's a spark of inspiration, but also a lot of passion for a bold, brave new start in some area of our life. And again, that is really supported by some very strong feminine energy that's going on in the cosmos right now. This is definitely a month where I think that strong women will really be at the forefront. Strong, powerful, pioneering, brave women, fiery women, really at the forefront of this cycle. And, you know, those are the main aspects. I want to say alongside of this trine, Mars and Virgo is alongside of the new moon, which is square Uranus. That Uranus is also trine Mars and Virgo. And so there is this sense of, although there are these unexpected plot twists, potentially, or shakeups, or metaphorical or literal earthquakes, there is this sense of a plan and a strategy, and, you know, just really getting things done one task at a time. But it's like there's this perfect plan and execution going on alongside all of the other kinds of, you know, surprises, shakeups, plot twists that we may be encountering during this cycle. And, you know, and another thing that I would just be conscientious about with the sun and moon in Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus is that all that glitters is not gold. You know, Leo is very much about the glitter and the glam and the all of the outer things, you know, and that square to Uranus is just, you know, here to teach us some things about the Leo archetype and how we relate to it. And this has been a real big season of that, with Venus retrograde in Leo since July 22nd. We've really been rethinking our values around Leo topics like children and legacy, creative self-expression, you know, living from our heart center, knowing what our heart's desires really are at this point, and then living from that space. These are all things we've been reevaluating a lot in this season, and in this new moon, it's kind of, we're also just coming off the Venus Cazimi, where Venus was in the heart of the sun on Sunday, the midway point of the Venus retrograde cycle. And so Venus, love, the goddess of love and beauty and justice and romance, she's getting her strength back now, so things should start to improve. Art, she rules art as well. As she's moving forward, she's getting ready to rise as the morning star, which is also very warrior, princess empowered Venus. So you see this really strong, feminine, powerful energy over this next lunation cycle coming forth through Venus, through Eris, through Black Moon Lilith, you know, and so it's Venus, but also the darker sides of the feminine energy. Very powerful. And the trine with Mars and Virgo and Uranus and Taurus, there is really strong manifesting energy. There is an ability through inventiveness, originality, and creativity and thinking out of the box, combined with strategy and, you know, just being a taskmaster, getting it done one foot in front of the other, one day at a time, one task at a time. There's the ability to really manifest greatness. And so those are kinds of the highlights of this next lunation cycle. There's obviously so much more that I could say, but I was trying to keep it under 10 minutes, but it seems to be going beyond that. But definitely contact me for a reading. The best way to talk about it is to look at where it falls in your chart and see how these energies are interacting with your own personal astrology. The way that I read it now on my videos is more of a collective point of view, but yes, Leo, these are affairs of the heart. These are matters of the heart. This is, what does our heart desire? This is, how do we live from our heart center? And this is, you know, about, you know, all of that good stuff. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to reading for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment and help me in the algorithm. If you're watching this on Instagram, likely I'm only putting 5 minutes and you'll have to go watch the whole thing on YouTube, so you won't even see this part, so there's no point in saying it. But everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I love sharing astrology. I would love to read for you personally. Follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Hit the contact button there. You can email me at empresseliane@gmail.com to schedule a reading. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, happy new moon of Leo.